Hi, this is Vicki with Crafting for Fun. I want to show you how I made this cute little card. It was kind of an impromptu project. I pulled out one of my 6x6 paper pads and found a piece of patterned paper that I really liked, and remembered that I had recently purchased this die set from Technique Tuesday. It is called Memo Pad Card, and it's a brand new set for them. And I wanted to experiment with that, and so I thought, well, I'll just make a card, and so this is what I came up with. In addition to that stamp set, I'm using two items that I haven't used in a while. I'm using my Stampin' Up! Star punches. This is the small star and the large star punch. These do nest, and so I'm going to use them on my card. But if you don't have these star punches, any star punch that you have might work, or you could even use spellbinders or cut out stars using another die cutting machine. And I'm also going to use my Stampin' Up! Half-inch circle punch. In addition to these items, you'll need some cardstock and ink items, and I'll show you what those are in the next part of the video. So let me go ahead and get set up, and I'll show you how I made this card. To make this card, you'll need the following items. I have a piece of cardstock that is cut at 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4 in the middle to make a standard base card. Then I have two pieces here that are cut at 4 by 5 1/4. The first one is Bermuda Bay, 4 by 5 1/4, and then the second one is a piece of very vanilla cardstock that it's going to be the liner on the inside of my card. And then I have two additional pieces here that are cut at approximately 3.5 by 4.5. The first one is just a piece of patterned paper that I took out of a 6x6 paper stack, and that's how I actually chose these colors. I chose them to coordinate with my pattern paper. And then another one is just very vanilla in the same size, 3.5 by 4.5. And I'm going to be use those to do some die cutting. And then you'll need some additional scraps for embellishment. Now, again, I chose my pattern paper first, and then I selected colors that matched. So I have a scrap of Gumball Green, a scrap of Real Red, a scrap of Early Espresso, and a scrap of Tangerine Tango. And in case I didn't mention it, the card base is Early Espresso. So Early Espresso and Bermuda Bay, and then Gumball Green, Real Red, Early Espresso, and Tangerine Tango. So let me show you what else you'll need. You'll need a stamp set. I'm going to use the stamp set Perfect Words, which is an older Stampin' Up! Stamp set. Any sentiment would do. And I'm going to use this sentiment here that says, on a scale of 1 to 10, you are an 11. And that is actually another reason why I chose this little piece of pattern paper. It has little round numbers, and I thought that that went well with the number sentiment here, and you'll see what we're going to do with that in a moment. And then I'm using a brand new die set from Technique Tuesday. It's called Memo Pad Card, and this is what the dies in the set look like. I just have them stored in a CD case with a magnet. And if you're wondering what this number is here, it tells me that there are supposed to be 6 pieces in my set, and indeed I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. So when I put my set of dies away, I'll know that all my pieces are there. And we're going to actually use this piece here, which is the notepad, and we're going to use the paper clip, and we're going to use the word wow. And so we're going to leave these others in there. So let me show you what we need to do here. I'm going to take all of my paper pieces and dies and move them over so I could set my Big Shot machine up. And I'm going to bring out, for the very first thing, I'm going to bring out that strip of Early Espresso, that scrap of Early Espresso, and I'm going to bring out the two pieces that are 3.5 by 4.5. There's one of pattern paper and one of cream. And I'm going to do the Early Espresso first. So I just have a small clear cutting pad. This is just a smaller version. It's available at my craft store, but if you only have the full-size ones, that will work fine too. And I'm going to cut out the paper clip and the word wow. And so I'm sandwiching those between two clear cutting plates. I'm going to turn this around so the handle is close to me. I have a bad habit of putting it in the wrong direction when I'm on camera. So I just roll that through, and when I take that off, you'll see that I have, a piece here that looks like a paper clip, only it's made out of paper instead of metal. And then I have the word wow here, and that just falls right out. So I'm going to set those two little pieces aside and put my dies away. And now I'm going to bring back those two pieces that are 3.5 by 4.5. The first one is the piece of pattern paper, and so I'm going to go ahead and put that there and lay my notepad die down and sandwich that between two plates. And if it creaks and pops, that's normal. And that's my first piece that looks like note paper. And now I'm going to take my second piece, which is just the vanilla cardstock. I'm going to do the same thing with it. Lay it down there, cover it up, and send it through my die cutting machine. And now I'm finished with all my cutting. Oops. And I'm going to go ahead and put my dies aside and remove my big shot out of the way so we can finish this card up. Okay, so those are scrap. Now I'm going to bring back my card base here. I'm going to take the liner piece and set it aside. And I'm going to take the piece of Bermuda Bay cardstock that is cut to be my first layer, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that to the front of my card. Oops, that's a little bit crooked there. I'm going to have to work quickly. There we go. Much better. Okay, there we go. So my first layer is on. Now I'm going to bring back my two pieces of notebook paper here that I cut out, and I'm going to be working with two colors of ink today. I'm going to use Early Espresso, and I'm going to use Real Red. And like I said, I'm going to use that stamp that says on a scale of 1 to 10 you're an 11. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on my note paper using the Early Espresso ink. I'm just going to do it down here near the bottom. There we go. And now, whoops, I need to grab a baby wipe so I can wipe this stamp off, and then we'll go on and finish this project. Hold on one moment. Okay, I've cleaned my stamp with a regular baby wipe, and now I'm ready to work with it again. So I'm going to go ahead and just apply some Real Red ink using a regular Stampin' Write marker. And the color of that again is Real Red. And on a little tiny scrap of very vanilla paper, I'm just going to stamp that number. That is the number 11. And then I'm going to take a 1/2 inch circle punch and go ahead and punch that out and set that aside. We'll come back to that in a moment. So I have my two pieces here, and I have to just figure out how I want to arrange them on the front of my card. And I kind of want them to be just kind of randomly crossed, so maybe like that. And I just need to make sure that when I fit them on there that they will not extend off of the card. And I'm just putting a little adhesive on there because I'm going to stick the two pieces together. So I want enough of this pattern paper one to show. Maybe I'll do them like that. There we go. And now I'm going to take my paper clip, my cutout paper clip, and I just want to clip it on somewhere. And I just kind of determine where I want to clip it based on how I've crossed these two pieces of paper. So I'm just going to do that. And actually, I just put a little adhesive on the back of that. And I'm going to go ahead and apply adhesive to the back of these pieces so I can stick them down. And that's all I have to really do to hold that in place. So my paper clip is on there. And I'm going to position those so nothing sticks off my card. And I'm going to take my word wow, and I want to put it on there. So I'm going to turn it over to the back side. And I'm going to use this little scrap of brown just to work on. And I'm going to actually use a two-way glue pen to adhere this in place because I find that adhesive works well for these little tiny pieces. So I just put a little two-way glue on there. And I think I'm going to take that and just stick it up here in the top. And it doesn't even have to be straight. I'm going to put it on there a little crooked because I just kind of like it crooked. And now I'm going to bring back these scraps of colored cardstock. And I'm actually going to, with my red, I'm going to work with my red first. I have two sizes of stars, so I can stamp or punch my small star and then take my large star and put it over. And that is one benefit of nesting stars, but if you don't have stars that nest, just solid stars would be fine. So I'm going to stick one of those on there. Punch a green one. Punch an orange one. And let's see, maybe I'll do one more red one. And a red one. So I'm going to go ahead and put those on there, and then I'm going to take my number 11 here that I have, that I stamped, and I'm going to put a little piece of dimensional on the back of that. Whoops. And I usually save the little tiny pieces that are left over from other projects, and they work great for something like this. So I'm going to stick that on there. Now when I apply these stars, you can pop dot them up if you want. I'm not going to. I'm just going to put them on there, and I'm just going to kind of scatter them randomly. And I find that just regular old glue works, or regular mono adhesive works fine for this. There we go. Make sure I don't have any inside of my star there. And I actually don't mind if it overlaps a little bit. And I'll do my orange star there. Okay, so there we have a really simple little card. It says, wow, on a scale of from 1 to 10, you're an 11. And then, as always, I have created a liner for the inside of my card because it's a dark colored card base, but I won't apply that liner to the inside of my card until I've already written on it or stamped a sentiment. That way if I make a mistake, it's not so difficult to correct. So this is the card that you saw me make today, and I'm going to show you a very similar card. I just made it in a different color way. So this has a white background layer, and I used white paper. I used actually the same pattern paper from the same paper stack, and just lighter color, more primary colors, and this would be great for a child. So I hope you enjoyed today's card. If you have any questions about this card or any of the projects that you've seen on my videos or on my blog, you can always email me at craftingforfun@gmail.com, or you can check out my blog, craftingforfun.blogspot.com, for additional craft ideas. I hope to see you back here again soon.